Hello, and welcome to Boss Up with Tiffany Bethea. This is the place where we talk all things living a God-surrendered life and running a God-surrendered business or ministry. And you know what, guys? Honestly, I am so excited. I'm hyped because this has been such a long time coming. You probably can tell by browsing on my channel that I've had this YouTube channel for some time. I've used it before, and then I took a little bit of a break, and I knew that it was time to get back out here to share the message. And so I thought long and hard about what did I want to talk about on this very first episode of Boss Up. And I really want to take a moment, quite honestly, to introduce my purpose story, kind of tell you how I discovered my purpose, how I monetized it, how I became a full-time entrepreneur. One of the things I get phone calls the most about, so many people call me all the time who have an idea, want to start something, kind of sense that God is calling them to do something. As a matter of fact, I literally got a phone call like last week. I was driving back from a networking event, and I got a phone call from a classmate of mine, an old classmate who, was like, I just admire you for stepping outside of the boat, doing what God is calling you to do. That's what I feel like I'm ready to do. I need some help. And those are the kinds of calls I get all the time. So I really want to kind of talk a little bit about my journey, some of the lessons I've learned, and I hope and I believe it's going to be helpful for those of you who are at the beginning of the journey, who are in the middle of the journey, who've been on the path for a little while. So, first, let me introduce what I do and some of the things I've been able to do for some of you. So I am a full-time entrepreneur. Yay for that. I primarily wear two hats. So I am the founder of the Tiffany Bethea Group LLC, which is a boutique marketing and brand agency. And I primarily work with ministries, nonprofits, small businesses, and also solopreneurs, authors, and speakers. And then I'm the founder of Kingdomboss, whoop, 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 which is the place where faith and business collide. And it's really a community for Christian entrepreneurs who are looking to grow a thriving and profitable Christ-centered business. And that sounds great and wonderful, but guys, I'm going to pull you behind the curtain a little bit, because the truth is it took me some time to really get to the place where I am successfully walking in my purpose, full-time in it, thriving and profitable, like I say in the Kingdomboss tagline. And, you see this meme. So one thing that you will learn about me very quickly is I love memes. I always joke and say I have the meme ministry because I will be bringing you all of my favorite memes that I come across on Instagram. So this is one that I'm showing you that just really talks about the fact that success is not this straight line that we think it is, but it's this squiggly, just like all over the place journey. And many of you who are watching this probably feel like you're on the squiggly line, and you can relate to that. Like, you know what? I see where God is calling me. I see the thing I'm building, and you know what? It's like I go like this, and then we make a left, and we make a right, or whatever. So I want to talk about what my journey has been like, some of the lefts and the rights and the curves, in order for me to finally get to what I believe is the center of God's will. I always say that I feel like walking in your purpose is like, being on the bullseye. Like, you throw the dart just to get on the board, but at some point you really start moving toward the center. You say yes and you jump out there, and God never shows you the whole thing. You're on there, but then you start moving toward the center of exactly what he has for you. And that's where I finally feel like I am now, but it took me so many years to get there. I gotta go all the way back to childhood, to be honest, because as you see in the opening reel there, I'm a worship leader, I'm a singer, and growing up, I wanted to be an R&B star. Like, I just knew I was the next Jill, Beyonce, Scat. Like, that was the goal. Badu. That's what I always used to say. I just knew I was the next Jill, Beyonce, Badu. That was me. I'm going to have a little bit of soul. I'm going to have a little bit of depth, a little bit of sex appeal. Boom. That's me. And so my whole childhood, I sang, and even my freshman year in college, I was a music major, was, on the path, on the way, right? So between freshman and sophomore year of college, I had an audition with an A&R from Sony Music. And I'll never forget, he said to me, I feel like your classical training is kind of hurting your soulful edge. You need to kind of lay off of that and get back to the more soulful part of your voice. And I was like, oh, how am I going to do that as a music major? So I changed my major from music to business solely for the purpose of being able to manage myself as an artist. Like this is how the journey works. Like, and God uses everything, because I never ever intended to actually use my business degree. So I got out of college, I graduated, and I was like, here's my degree, gave it to my parents. That's a whole nother long story. And then I moved to New York. I connected with actually I did my demo, connected with the producer, went up there and was ready to live my dream. Here I come. Here comes Jillian Badu. Here she is. And it wasn't working out, and I could sense in my spirit that God was like, this is not what I have for you. This is the acceptable will, but this is not my perfect will for you. I'll allow it, but this isn't really what I have for you. And so I remember in 2006 coming back home and just being like the girl in Coming to America, whatever you like. Like that was my response to go, whatever you like. I said, you know what? He broke me down. My will was surrendered. I said, all right, God, whatever you have for me, fine. So I actually started using my degree. I went to work for my ministry, for my parents' church, PK, shout out. and their marketing was definitely in need of some help. So I began to, really tighten up some of the brand and really begin to help with the marketing of getting the word out about what we were doing for Christ. And so even in that point of the journey, I'm like, God, where are you going with this? Like, what? This is not the dream, but I'm saying yes, and I know it's going somewhere, So fast forward a couple of years, 2008, I actually find myself intrigued in the world of network marketing. And let me just kind of sidebar here. Network marketing, direct sales sometimes get such a bad rap from people who don't understand, haven't done it, seen, heard, whatever. But I have to say, it is a really incredible industry. There are so many things you learn personal development wise. That was one of my biggest takeaways. Some of the things I learned while in network marketing, I still use even now in traditional business. And especially as an introvert in business, I think the best thing I learned in network marketing was how to people, how to get comfortable talking to people, reading people, just being comfortable, really coming out of my skin. So for me, that was one of the pluses I gained in network marketing. But so found myself in network marketing, did quite a few companies, but the one I had the most success with was called Organo Gold. And I, to this day, love the product, love everything about the company. Just at some point, my schedule just, wasn't in alignment for my life anymore. But that was that kind of whet my appetite for entrepreneurship. That kind of got me, interested in that. And again, like I said, childhood, I wanted to be a singer. I never saw myself at a desk, just working this office job. That just wasn't for me. And it's not to say I'm sure that's a good fit for many people. But for me, I saw myself traveling, kind of having my own different schedule. That just wasn't the way I saw myself. So doing network marketing really kind of got my appetite wet again for living this, very different lifestyle. And so 2011, I'm still in Organo Gold, doing very well, and I start to get bit with the bug of maybe I can be a full-time entrepreneur. Now, mind you, that at this point my marriage had just ended, and so I was kind of in a place anyway where I needed to start over. And it was really the perfect moment for me to say, all right, God, since I'm rebuilding, what do you have for me? Like, I'm at ground zero anyway. I'm starting completely from scratch. Let me just go for the gold. I want to walk in my purpose now. What do you have for me? And so I really began to feel like, being a full-time entrepreneur was where God was shifting me. And so I took the entire year of 2011 just really preparing, getting direction for that. And January the 1st, 2012 was my first day as a full-time entrepreneur. Now, many people don't know this, but I actually started out full-time in my network marketing business. Again, it was going very well, and I said, if I'm doing this well part-time, what would happen with my revenue if I go full-time? But December 2011, I get in a bad accident. Well, not a bad, I walked away, thank goodness, without a scratch. But my truck was totaled and I had no car. And as you can imagine, trying to build a network marketing business without knowing anything about digital marketing or inbound or anything that, like, just strictly grassroots without a car, yeah. So my business, within like 60 days, my network marketing income just completely began to shrivel, and I was like, all right, God, what now? And so that's where the Tiffany Bethea Group LLC, my first company, was founded, because I said, well, let me use my marketing skills that I have, and the blessing was, because of the work I had done, many people were familiar with it, so they began to kind of send me work, all that good stuff. So 2012, here we are, we're a marketing consultant, and we're doing our thing. But I think this is where the line gets squiggly again, because again, I'm on the board, but I'm still got to scoot toward the center to figure out, like, exactly, God, what are you doing with this thing, right? And so I felt like there's much more in me than just being a marketing consultant. Now, I became an ordained minister in 2008 as well, right? Oh my goodness, it'll be 10 years this year. Oh, that's exciting. I'm sorry, I just said that. I just realized, like, oh wow, that's 10 years. But so 2008, I became an ordained minister, and so I'm, at this point, I'm getting speaking engagements. I'm utilizing some of the spiritual gifts inside of me, and I never even see the two as connected. I see, like, marketing hat over here, minister hat over here, and it never even dawns on me that at some point they will maybe cross. So I had this organization called the Live Circle, and it was for young women between the ages of 18 to 25. And let me tell you how sometimes we put God in a box, because the real core reason why I chose that age group was because I felt like only young people would really listen to me, right? So, I'm like, well, let me try to, I'm young, so let me serve young women, right? And it was the craziest thing, because the 3 or so years that I had the Live Circle, we never just got young women. Like, literally, my very last Live Circle event, I did an event called Recast Your Reality, and I had women there, like half the room were like 40 and 50 and over. And I was so thrown. I was like, God, how come I can't just get these young girls? And he was like, because that's not who you're limiting yourself to youth. I never said your message was only for youth. I'm like, oh, got it. So then I took off the youth and said, well, let me serve all ages of women, right? So after that, CEO Life was the direction that I slid into. At this point, I'm working with a lot more entrepreneurs on their marketing and really pouring into them in regards to what God has for them. So I'm like, well, you know what? Let me just bless women entrepreneurs. And CEO Life was born. And would you guys know, here comes the messaging again. Got all these men keep popping up in my inbox, trying to come to the webinars, like, hey, is this for us too? And I'm like, no, this is just for the women. and so once again, I found myself back in that prayer closet. I'm like, God, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I never said, you were just to women. You put yourself in that box, but it was a journey, and he allowed it for a season. And then finally, in 2014, the end of 2014, he just begins to speak to me, and Kingdomboss is born. And I'm like, ooh, wow. And I knew this brand was not just for women or young women, that Kingdomboss was really for all ages of men and women who are believers in business or aspiring to be in business. And it was like, that was when I knew that I hit the center of my purpose. Not only, did I know it, but confirmation from coaches, mentors, so many people in my life. Literally, the response I kept getting was, that's it. That's the thing, and so I share all of that really high level. There's so many more details I could go into with each part of those brands, but I think the thing I want to impress upon you the most is that say yes, and just know that it's not going to be this linear journey. You're not going to see it all now, understand it all now. When I first planned my very first conference for Live Circle, one of my keynote speakers has become one of my biggest sisters, mentors, biggest voices in my ear. And I just think to myself, like, I didn't even know her at the beginning of the journey. And she has been so instrumental, God speaking through her for me. Some of the people that you are going to really be connecting with and really making a difference in your journey, you might not even know yet. So as you are in a place where you're discovering your own brand story, figuring out your purpose story, launching or relaunching, like I have done many times as I've shifted and kind of moved along the bullseye to get to the center of the purpose. Really just be committed to sticking with God through the journey. That my yes is my yes, and I'm going to trust you wherever this thing goes, knowing that he who has begun a good work and you really will complete it, and that you're going to have to walk with him all through the squiggly line to really get to the center of the will that he has for you, whether it's a business, a ministry, a nonprofit, a speaking platform, a book, however he has called for you to serve the world and know that it's bigger. It's so much bigger than you could ever imagine. And if you say yes, he will guide you there and nothing will be wasted. I remember saying, God, how are you going to use my entertainment side? I'm a singer. I'm artsy, I'm bubbly, I'm colorful. How are you going to use all of that? And even in my speaking, my video blogging, marketing, he still is pulling on and using that entertainment factor, that quality of me, but connecting it to the message and the content that he would have for me. And so instead of me out there being an R&B singer, not glorifying him, not in what I was going to be singing, I'm able to use my gift, one as a worship leader in the house, but also just my overall entertainment to get the message out for those of you who are looking to live a God-surrendered life and run a God-surrendered business or ministry. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that some of the lessons I've learned throughout my journey, I'm still on the journey, have been a blessing for you. And this is the first of many episodes. I really want to talk about so many different facets of living that God-surrendered life, running a God-surrendered business, how to make it growing, how to make it thriving and profitable. And so stick around. I would encourage you, if you really, really enjoy this and want to be notified, subscribe, become a subscriber, join the tribe, and boss up with me. I'm just excited, guys, to be here. So that's the beginning of my journey. That's how we got to the center. That is my purpose story. And I just hope and believe that whatever God is calling you to do, that you will say yes, that you will show up to your greater, and you'll allow him to really unfold your own purpose story. And until I see you guys next time, don't forget that success is not only in doing, but it's also in being. Bye.